One of the hottest trends on YouTube right now is ordering these random mystery boxes from complete strangers on the deep web and opening them on camera. I don't know why I didn't realize a clear majority of these videos are fake and staged for their scare factor. But I didn't. I thought it was a great idea and hopped on the bandwagon to claim my YouTube stardom that I desperately longed for. For those who don't know a lot about the deep web, it's simply a part of the internet that isn't accessible from your basic Chrome, Firefox, or Explorer search engines. You must download the encryption program Tor and the Tor browser for starters. It's not illegal to access this part of the internet, but since it is anonymous, a great deal of illegal actions happens there. The possibilities are endless. I grabbed my laptop I've had since I graduated in 2011 and downloaded the required programs. I prefer to use my laptop over my desktop in case of viruses and such. My 7-year-old laptop is a little more disposable. I had a little Bitcoin phase a few years ago when it was blowing up, so I had a little saved already. It wasn't much, only 0.1 Bitcoin, which translates to roughly 632 US dollars. But it was enough for what I was looking for. After the downloads were finished, I opened the browser and started my journey at the Hidden Wiki website. They provided a lot of useful links to get you started on the deep web. I scrolled through the warnings and gists of what it was and found the links I was looking for. Almost forgot, I muttered to myself as I grabbed the duct tape from my desk drawer. I cut a tiny, square piece off the end and placed it over my webcam. Call me paranoid, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. I clicked on the first link and waited what seemed like forever for the page to load. It was another very plain page with a list of popular websites that you could scroll through on the side. I continued my search through the web links until I found a page dedicated to mystery boxes. I wanted to find one around $500, so people knew I meant business on my channel. These were relatively small, staying around the 0.0125 to 0.05 Bitcoin range. I was worried about being scammed. I decided to continue my search after a quick bathroom break. When I came back, I noticed my cursor was off to the side and was able to click on a link that must have matched the background color of the web page because I couldn't see it. I indulged in my curiosity and hit the link. I was taken to a pitch black page with small white texts near the top. I'm selling one random package to any brave soul to receive it for only 0.12 Bitcoin, or best offer. Only one, huh? I thought to myself. I'll shoot my shot. I hit the small payment button and was asked how much I'd like to spend. I entered 0.1 Bitcoin with fingers crossed. The payment went through without any hesitation, and I was instantly met with a chat box asking where I'd like my package sent. I know this wasn't a good idea, and I regret it to this day, but the other YouTube channels use their own address often, so I thought nothing of it. I gave them my home address. I waited over a month for the box to come in, 36 days to be exact. It arrived directly on my front porch and was wrapped numerous times in red tape. I set my camera on the tripod and adjusted it to show me and the box on this small wooden table. I draped a sheet in the background so it looked a little more professional. I collected some gloves and scissors so I can bang the video out in one go. Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's vlog. Boy, do I have a surprise for you. I continue my monologue, mentioning how I got the box and how much I paid. Without wasting further time, let's open this deep web mystery box. I grab the scissors and cut along the red tape. I make sure my gloves are on tight, and I rip the box open. My brow furrows as I see just one book. Without saying a word, I take the book out of the box. I was pretty pissed I spent over $600 on a book. Well, folks, looks like we got us a dud. These pages better be made of gold. The outside of the book was old and tattered, and it smelled of mildew and mold. I cracked the book open to the first page and glanced over the contents. It's an old photo album. Smells of old rot. Let's take a look at the pictures. I showed the camera a view of the page's contents. It has 4 pictures on the first page, all labeled by days. The first one says day 1, the second one day 2, and so on. The pictures were taken with an old Polaroid camera. These were pictures of airplanes, random suitcases, a couple of taxis, and some pretty shady motels. Looks like someone's old travel photos. I continue flipping through the pages. Every day was a different photo of nature or cars or trains. Day 18 held the oddest photo yet. It was just a mask, handcuffs, a gag, and a bottle of some sort of drug, it looked like. These people have one hell of a fetish. I try to keep the video interesting. I zoomed into the picture with the camera so everyone can see it. Around day 32, things started getting weird. There was a picture of a house, but not just any house. It was the house I grew up in, my parents' house. My hand covered my mouth as I gasped for air. How is this? I'm unable to form a sentence. I'm at a loss for words. Day 33, I turn the page and see a man and a woman handcuffed and gagged. I immediately expel the contents of my stomach as I see my own mom's scared and crying face, and my dad, face first, in a pile of what looked like black tar. Day 34. This photo was taken inside what looks like a vehicle. I focused my gaze to the dashboard where a small photo is barely visible. It's an old school photo of me. They're in my dad's truck. Day 35. Another house, but this one much smaller. The photo is too blurry to make out the details. My hands are trembling and all I can hear is my heart pounding in my ears. I flip to the last page. I immediately throw the book to the ground and run to the window. I jiggle the hatch frantically and throw it open. Without hesitation, I jump out and run to the neighbors. As I'm running, I turn around for a brief second. What I saw haunts me to this day. A tall, hooded figure stood in my room, looking at me through the window. He stood motionless, before lifting his hands and waving. I screamed for my neighbor who heard me inside and called the cops. I sat and just cried. I cried out of fear for my life. I cried for my parents. I cried because it was all my fault. My lack of common sense got my parents killed, and I will have to live with that forever. If you access the deep web, do not release any personal information. Even if people on YouTube do it, most of it's not real. And always check your boxes. It would have saved me a lot of trouble if I would have noticed the box I received had no tracking sticker on it. It was hand-delivered. Something happened to me a few weeks ago that I planned to keep a secret. But recently it has been eating away at me, and I need to speak about it. The situation involves the dark web, but it isn't like all the other stories you hear of some unsuspecting soul learning of the dark web through a friend, going on it for the first time and browsing around until the inevitable comes across some horrifying page that leaves them sleepless for nights. No, this is the opposite, to be honest. I'm actually the one who would be terrifying these curious souls. You see, I'm a dark web prankster, meaning I spend my free time on the dark web messing with unsuspecting strangers. I join chat rooms and send them links to gory, but obviously fake videos. I play similar videos in place on my webcam in private chats, tricking the other user into thinking that they are chatting with a psychopathic killer. My favorite trick, though, is taking control of their cursor, manipulating the chat room and making the site unclosable unless they turn off their machine. This one gets the most screams and appalled expressions, and it is all achieved through running some simple bash scripts. Now, some people may think this is cruel, but I see it as a service, a free one at that. You see, those people come onto the dark web for these kinds of experiences. They hear somebody tell a scary story of their experience on the big bad dark web, and they want to be able to tell similar stories in a sad attempt to be interesting. They come looking to be terrified, and I ensure they aren't disappointed. Of course, I get my own enjoyment out of it, so it's a win-win. But recently, this has all changed. If you fly too close to the sun, you'll eventually get burned. I am burning. The night started like any other. I got back from work, made some dinner, and after washing up, I logged onto my PC and got to work. I jumped around a few chat rooms, but they were unusually quiet or taking too long to connect. And when they did connect, people left before I got the chance to mess with them. Eventually, I was able to keep someone around for more than a few seconds. They were some bald dude with a gnarly scar across his nose. His ears and face were both heavily pierced, and he had a python tattoo wrapped around his neck. A tough guy. They were always fun to make cry like a baby. The way I usually do these pranks is I keep the screen blank until I see the person. Then I choose from the collection of cam clips I have, and slowly escalate it from there. For this specific instance, I chose a clip of a cute girl who starts smiling and waving. The man smiled back and began typing until a message popped up. "Hi, you are cute. Thank you. I like your tattoo." We went back and forth typing and discussing ourselves until I decided to start the fun. I took down the video of the girl and replaced it with a video that starts with a man tied to a chair. A masked man then begins to beat the man in the chair with a hammer. To my surprise, the man didn't seem horrified. Instead, he began to wholeheartedly laugh before sending another message. Funny, but I preferred the lady. I replied telling him to shut up or the girl would get it next. Once that message sent, the man's laughter stopped and he began to stare into the camera with a cold, emotionless gaze. You shouldn't be so rude. That message was the beginning of the end for my pranking. He began to type again, and when he stopped, my jaw dropped and my fun was over. He sent the message, and it was my full name. I quickly moved my cursor up and tried to X out of the chat, but my cursor froze before dissipating before my very eyes. I opened my console and began to frantically type some commands, but each one was denied. Slowly, the chat began to turn black with red font. I was in a full-blown panic now. My heart was racing and I felt like I had spikes sticking into my arms, legs, and neck. I couldn't control my breathing and I was sweating profusely. All the while, that psycho was smiling into the camera, his dirty yellow teeth glaring at me as he continued to type. Let's have a look, shall we? The light from my webcam lit up, and sure enough, down in the left-hand corner of the screen was my terrified face staring aimlessly at the screen. My brain was screaming instructions at me, but my body couldn't react. I was frozen in fear. Eventually, I snapped out of it and stood up to turn off my computer when he screamed in a deep, grisly, distorted voice. Wait! This stopped me in my tracks. I looked back at the screen and he was gone, but only momentarily. When he returned, he was standing up, leaning over directly into the camera. He lifted his hand, balled into a fist, and opened it, revealing multiple human teeth which fell from his hand and bounced off the desk beneath. Then, he sent the last message. See you soon, boy. He smiled as the words in the chat room began to fall off the screen, while a loud, screeching noise blared from my speaker. Just then, my computer switched itself off, leaving me standing, staring at my reflection on the darkened monitor. I must have stood there for at least 5 minutes before I snapped out of it and went to bed. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. Every time my eyes closed, I saw his horrifying smile, and I heard the disgusting sound of the teeth hitting the desk. I called in sick to work the next day so I could try to relax and went for a run to clear my head. It helped enormously, and 3 days later I had put the whole experience behind me. However, a week ago, about 10 days after the incident, something happened which made me tell this story. At about 1 a.m., I was awoken by some strange banging sounds. I got up in a haze and looked out the front window to see an old maroon-colored Toyota Camry parked right behind my car and blocking it in. The banging had stopped, but the strange car had put me on edge. I had lived in the neighborhood for a few years and I never once saw this car. I put on some clothes and began to walk down my stairs and towards the front door. But as I did, the banging began again. It was coming from the back door. I slowly walked towards the door with my heart racing. The closer I got, the louder the bangs. Whatever was causing it was trying to smash the door off its hinges. I wanted to scream, "Get the hell away from my house!" However, for once in my life, I made the smart decision and ran up my stairs and into my bedroom before barricading my door and calling 911. The operator picked up just as I heard a window smash from downstairs. "There's a man in my house. He's trying to kill me," I screamed before she responded, telling me to calm down and to tell her my location. She asked me to stay on the line and that a squad car was close by. I heard heavy footsteps stomping up my stairs and towards my door before stopping. The operator asked was I still there, but before I could answer her inquiry, the man started to attempt to knock down my bedroom door. The bangs on the door were deafening. The operator kept pushing me to respond, but I couldn't. I was transfixed on the door, and how with every sickening thud that psycho got closer and closer. Suddenly, I could hear sirens in the distance and the banging stopped, followed by the sound of quick steps speeding down the stairs, and shortly after, the sound of a car starting and speeding away. A few minutes later, the lights from the sirens illuminated my room. This broke me out of my frozen, fearful state. I moved the barricade and ran down my stairs and out of the front door to the police. They questioned me for some time and searched around my house. They found shoe and axe marks on both doors. My bedroom door had a massive hole in it from where that lunatic was cutting it. I gave them a full statement and told them everything. When all was finished, they drove me to my friend's house as I couldn't stay at mine anymore. The next day, I rang my landlord and canceled my tenancy, which cost me my deposit and a cancellation fee. I've been staying with my friend while I look for a new place. I haven't been sleeping at all. I'm terrified that that psycho will find me again. The police found no evidence that could be used to find him, bar the Camry. But there are thousands of them in this state alone. I fear for my life every day, and I'm unsure if I'll ever be safe again. Stay off the dark web. It was mostly used by jokesters, but it only takes one wrong click to put your life in danger. I downloaded Tor. Yes, the mother of all evil, Tor. After stumbling around for some time, I found my way to a cache of randomly placed links. There was one called "More Power to Those Strong-Willed Ladies," and, being a sucker for a good advertisement, I clicked on it. I was disappointed at first when I saw that this was like any other random chat room, but what they were talking about was not normal at all. "Hello, my dear fellows. Welcome to the place where these strong-willed ladies give up their bodies for our satisfaction." I couldn't help but laugh when I read the message. It felt like I was in a virtual circus or something. "Start sending in your requests. We work on a first-come, first-served basis." All these messages came rushing in from different users. "Make her go bald. I want her nails taken off ASAP. Poke her eyes out. Burn, 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 burn. Why is her skin still intact? Peel it, now. I don't like her boobs. I think they're too big. Let's check if she has some silicone in them, shall we? Give her a snake tongue. Give her a third eye. No pinkies, no promises. I think she needs a nose job. Cut it off. Engrave a flamingo on her thigh. Female circumcision for the win." These messages already seemed disturbing, but the real unsettling part was yet to come. I couldn't understand what they were all talking about, so I finally decided to ask, "What are you guys doing?" Almost everyone in the chat ignored my message and kept sending the same weird requests. "Cut her nipples. Use the branding iron on her, please. And could you write whore this time, please? Could you pull her hair out, please? Boil her hand. Use the taser on her. What are you guys doing? This time, someone noticed me. "Are you new here?" "Yes." "Oh." They sent me a direct message. "Hi, it's me from the chat room." "Hey, what do you want to know?" "What is everybody talking about there? Who is she? And why are they all saying that?" "You seriously don't know what's happening here?" "No, I don't." "Then what are you even doing there? And how did you get access to that chat room?" "I just wanted to explore the dark web, and the link to the chat room just randomly popped up in front of me as I was looking around for something fun." "Interesting. So you don't have any idea what's going on in there?" "No. Seriously, I don't know. Could you please tell me now?" "Do you have the other link as well?" "Which one?" "The one that leads to the video." "No. Which video are you talking about?" I was getting curious now, but little did I know that I would have been better off not knowing the details. I've been scarred for life ever since, and it is all because of my undue curiosity. "Do you really want to know?" "Yes." "Really? You don't really seem like the kind of person who would be happy to find out." "I want to know." "Okay, but it's dark, and I hope you won't freak out after this." "Oh, don't worry about me. I can handle it. Just go ahead, please." "So, in the chat room, you were just linked to a red room. You know what a red room is, right?" "No." I knew I would sound dumb, but I really didn't know. "It's a place where sickos can play to watch live stream videos of rape, torture, murder, and worse." I was mortified at this revelation. "But I don't know how you got into it without paying." "I don't know. Do they torture people, or is it just acting?" I really wanted them to say that it was all just scripted. "No, it's all real. And I know how you got there. Anyone can enter the chat room, but only the people who have paid get access to the live stream, and thank God you didn't pay these fuckers." "But how do you know all this? And do you come here often? You have access to the live stream, don't you?" "Yes, I do." "Do you enjoy watching it all?" "No." "Then why?" "I can't reveal anything. But trust me, I'm not one of them. I work for an organization, and I'm trying to hack into their system and stop them." I don't know why, but I believed him. "Why haven't you caught them yet? Why are they still roaming around free? That's disgusting." "We're trying. These people are too clever, and their security system is hard to crack. But don't worry, we'll catch them, and then they'll have to face the consequences of their actions." "I hope they do. Can I ask you another thing as well, if you don't mind?" "Yeah." "Where do they get their targets? And how do they choose their targets?" "They kidnap their targets. At the end of each session, everyone gives suggestions, but they just choose their targets randomly. It's always the easy ones. And do you want to know something else?" "Yes." "I've noticed that it's always one of the members who attended the previous session. That makes us all vulnerable." "But why do people watch them if it increases their chances of becoming the next target?" "It's the thrill that drives all of these people here." I was freaking out. "Don't worry. I'm here for you. I'm here to protect you. Just tell me where you live and I'll make sure to assign someone the duty of keeping an eye on your house." This was when I made the biggest mistake of my life. I believed them and told them my address. I don't know why I did it. I still can't forgive myself for doing it. But everyone makes mistakes. We just talked for a couple of minutes more, and then they went offline. My doorbell rang the next day. I received a parcel, but there was no name of the sender on it, and I couldn't tell which courier company it had come from either. I looked around, but there was no one in sight who could have placed it at my door. I took it inside and was disgusted to find a human hand inside. There was also a letter which read, "We have found you out, brave woman. You'll be our next guest on the show." That line shook me to the core. I just picked up the box and ran towards my car. My breathing was shallow and my heart was beating fast. I drove the maximum speed limit and went straight to the police. I told them everything. Until then, I had not even thought once that the person I talked to the day before could have been the culprit. But they were. I was placed under supervision for my own safety, and the police caught them a week later. The person admitted to 16 murders and multiple assaults. So please, guys, I beg of you, don't ever share your personal information with anyone over the internet. Not until you are 100% sure that the person on the other side is not a psycho murderer. Keep yourselves and your families safe.